Hey everyone, this is Izzy here coming to you live with my Avengers Endgame review. I just finished watching the film, and this is going to be a spoiler-free review, so I promise you you're not going to hear anything that's going to ruin the going in completely blind experience for you. And this is not going to be a detailed review either, so anything that I say in terms of as far as detail is concerned, it'll be very spoilerish. So I'm going to do my very best to keep it as spoiler-free and as vague as possible. And I know that might frustrate quite a few people as far as them most likely maybe have an idea of wanting to know, well, how does this happen? How does this go down? What happens with this individual? What happens with this character? I don't want to get into that, so this is going to be one of those reviews that's probably going to be the vaguest review that's coming from yours truly. Avengers Endgame is a sequel to Avengers Infinity War, and it's the complete culmination of 11 years worth of films within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is not a spoiler. Anyone who knows about Endgame knows that what happened in Infinity War, Thanos snaps, and half of life of every universe is essentially eradicated. And this film picks up immediately after the effects of Thanos' snap. And what is the beautiful thing about this particular film is how it actually explores the fallout from Thanos' snap. You don't, in other post-apocalyptic films, you never really get to experience the fallout of what happened. With this one in particular, you start thinking about the ramifications of what Thanos did and the consequences of his actions. You think about when he snapped, essentially half of the life that may have been, for example, doctors, dentists, lawyers, pilots, truck drivers, or families who were at certain gatherings. You think about all that life that was essentially wiped out. It's a very dark, eerie scenario when it transpires. You don't really feel the impact, the actual weight of his actions until you actually see it for yourself on the big screen. It's dark. It's really dark, people. It sent chills up. It sent chills up and down my spine when I actually got to see the reality of what he did, and it's captured so beautifully within this film. I mean, it's hard to really describe or to even put into words exactly how perfectly the Russo brothers captured that reality. This is probably one of the darkest Marvel Cinematic Universe films that I've watched. It's very heavy with emotions and character development, whereas one reviewer said that while Infinity War is Thanos' film, which it was, and it is, the Avengers Endgame is focusing on the Avengers, dealing with the fallout, attempting to not only heal themselves, but also heal everyone else around them and trying to build them up in the fashion that not only can they trust one another again, but build up their confidence to where they know that they have to go after Thanos. They have to. They have to undo what he has created. And it's very strong in character development, it's very strong in the emotionality, it's strong with the atmosphere of everything that has essentially gone down after the snap. For a 3-hour film, I will say this. Most 3-hour extravaganza films typically kind of veer into the boring side. And for this one in instance, you don't. For me personally, I didn't feel bored. For a 3-hour film to not bore me is pretty special. And as much as I love the Lord of the Rings films, there were certain times where I felt a little bit bored. But don't get me wrong, I love those films. They're amazing films. But in this instance, I didn't really feel as if that I had been in that theater for 3 hours. It's just the story is so strong and compelling that you completely forget exactly how long this film is, and how the Russo brothers captured that balance with all these characters in play, and all the storylines that need to be wrapped up. How they managed to accomplish that feat, I'll never know. I mean, that was. You have to think this is 11 years worth of storylines that is all in one film. I mean, there's various callbacks to earlier films and a lot of Easter eggs here and there. You don't really understand the scope of it until you actually sit down and watch this. And I will say this though, the last 20 minutes of this film is just mind-blowingly amazing. It's indescribable. I sat there when everything was beginning to unfold, and it's built up so perfectly. I mean, it's done so right that when it happens, the chills was just real. The emotion that I felt within that experience was so authentic and organic that it was so right. I can't really explain to you how just deep in emotion and thought I was when I was sitting there watching it. I shed tears. I'm not ashamed to admit that I cried. And everyone in the theater at that moment, when everything started to go down, roared with applause and cheering and whistling. What I love about watching films like this with a huge crowd of fans like myself, the energy, the electricity of the energy is so there and it's real that we're all there on one accord and we're all reacting to the same thing. And everything that I envisioned as a kid, reading the comic books, watching the animated series, and just using my imagination in an attempt of trying to recreate what I was watching and reading as a kid. And not really, if you would have told me in 1991 that, hey, in 2019 you were going to see an Avengers film where you see all of your favorite characters that you read and watched growing up coming together, I would look at you as if that you were an alien from a different dimension. That's no exaggeration. To see everything happen the way it did, I was flabbergasted. I was speechless, and I still am speechless. I'm still trying to come off of this strong emotional high from this experience that it's hard for me to put into words exactly how it made me feel. I mean, the Avengers Endgame is quite possibly the greatest comic book film of all time. I mean, I thought the first Avengers was amazing. I thought Age of Ultron was amazing. I thought Civil War was amazing. Heck, I thought Infinity War was the best Marvel Cinematic Universe film I had ever watched until Endgame. Endgame is, how can I put this into a proper way without going into any type of spoilers? One reviewer stated that Infinity War was the Empire Strikes Back of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Endgame, and maybe some might disagree with me on this notion, maybe they won't, but Endgame for me personally is like the return, like Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and Return of the King, all rolled into one. And you just don't really, everything that needed to be wrapped up in this film is wrapped up. I feel like since this could be viewed as the end of the Infinity Saga, there's really nowhere else to go after this. So everything that you could possibly think in terms of trying to continue the storylines, or if you're expecting anything other than, the complete culmination of this series, then that's the way it is. With how everything ended, it's wrapped up so neatly that you just know that there's really nothing left to be said after this. There's nowhere else to go. Everything is done the way they need to be done, and that's just the way it is. I enjoyed Avengers Endgame. I loved every minute, every second of it. I will definitely be watching it again, most likely maybe Tuesday night or Thursday. We'll see. I don't know. But I definitely will be watching it again. And I intend to at least watch it two more times, for sure. Just to try to pick up on certain scenes and moments that I might have missed. I don't think I really missed too much. It's very beautiful in terms of its emotion, how you just care for each and every one of these characters. And I hate to really bring DC into this, but this is where the DC Extended Universe failed, where the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with all these films, of all 11 years worth of films, you find yourself caring about these characters. You have bonded with these characters from the very beginning, from 2008's Iron Man all the way through The Incredible Hulk, Thor, Iron Man 2, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Black Panther, you have found yourself caring about each and every one of these characters, and your failures is their failures, and their success is your success. And it's captured so amazingly within the confines of this film. It's epic. The scope of this film is epic. It's huge. It's grandiose. It's everything that you could possibly want in a comic book film, and it's made for fans by the fans. And you will not be disappointed. And to reiterate, please do not be that guy or that girl who goes out of their way, whether it's intentionally or mistakenly going out of their way to spoil certain moments, character moments. Please don't be that guy or that girl. Please don't. There are plenty of people who have not watched this yet, and they're probably going to watch it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whenever. Let them enjoy it. Let them be in that moment without you being that individual who goes out of their way to try to get a reaction out of people just because you think it's funny. Trust me, it's not funny. Please don't do that. Be respectful of everybody else, feeling some form of excitement and want to watch it on their own accord. Please give them that common courtesy. That's all anyone's asking for. It's not too much to ask people. So please let people just enjoy it for what it is, and let them be fans. Let them be fans for that 3 hours. And if you want to spoil it for them afterwards, after they watch it, and you want to discuss it with them, that's fine. But don't be that person. Please, just let them enjoy it. With that said, Avengers Endgame, 5 out of 5. One of the best Marvel Cinematic Universe film that I've ever watched, and I wish I could put it into proper words without going into any type of detailed spoilers, but just know that when I tell you that this film captures everything that you could possibly want in a film, that's the best way I can describe it. You'll love it. It's fun, it's exciting, it's dark, it's emotional, it's funny. Character moments are great. Visual effects are amazing. The action is just straight out of a comic book. Just perfect all the way around. So once again, 5 out of 5. Hope everybody enjoys it. We get to the theater safe. Just have a great time. You won't be disappointed. Take care, everybody.